It's a normal day. You're busy. Your child is nearby. Nothing seems wrong, but something important is quietly forming or quietly missing. Because love to a child is not what you feel. It's what they experience over and over again. In the smallest moments you barely notice. And here's the part most parents never realize. Your child is already deciding what your love feels like. Not from big gestures, not from special occasions, but from what you do every single day. Some of these things take seconds. Some you're already doing. Some you might be missing. And by the end of this, you'll see why those small moments matter more than anything you say. Because this isn't about being a perfect parent. It's about being a consistent one. Let's start with something that feels almost too simple to matter. Looking at them when they talk to you. It sounds obvious, but think about it. Your child walks up to you. They're excited. They start telling you something, and you're on your phone, or half listening, or distracted. You say, uh-huh. You nod, but your eyes never meet theirs. This seems harmless. Most parents do it, but in your child's world, something shifts. Because eye contact isn't just attention. It's connection. It tells them, I see you. I hear you. You matter right now. Without it, they start to feel like they're competing for your presence. And over time, something subtle happens. They stop trying as much. Not because they don't want to share, but because it no longer feels worth it. Now this changes everything. Because love isn't measured by how much you care. It's measured by how much they feel seen. And this leads to something even deeper. Responding instead of reacting. There's a difference. A big one. Your child spills something, breaks something, interrupts you again. Your first instinct might be frustration. A quick, why would you do that? A sigh, a raised voice. It's fast, automatic, human. But here's what your child experiences in that moment. Not correction, but rejection, even if that's not your intention. Now, this doesn't mean you can't discipline. It doesn't mean you have to stay calm all the time. But it does mean this. The tone you use becomes the voice they hear in their own head later. And that voice stays longer than you think. So when you pause, even for a second, and choose to respond instead of react, you're not just handling the moment, you're shaping how they handle themselves. And here's where it gets uncomfortable. Some parents will hear this and still not change because reacting is easier, faster. But responding, that's what builds trust. And trust is what makes everything else possible. Now you might be wondering, is it really that serious? It is, but it doesn't mean you've done damage. It means patterns matter more than moments. And this next one proves it. Physical affection, not just when it's convenient, not just when they ask, but daily, consistently. A quick hug, a hand on their shoulder, a gentle touch as you pass by. These moments seem small, but to a child's brain, they're powerful signals of safety, of belonging, of love without conditions. And here's something most people overlook. As kids grow older, they ask for it less, but they need it just as much, maybe even more. So when you stop initiating, they don't stop needing it. They just stop expecting it. And that quiet shift, it matters, because eventually, they learn to live without it. And this is the part that stays with them. Now let's shift slightly, because up until now, this has been about what you give. But this next one is about what you allow, letting them express emotions without shutting them down. Your child is upset, crying, frustrated over something that seems small to you. And your instinct might be, it's not a big deal. Stop crying. You're fine. You're trying to help, to calm them. But here's what they actually learn, that their feelings are too much or not important. And over time, they stop sharing those feelings with you, not because they don't have them, but because they don't feel safe expressing them. This is where it gets deeper, because emotional safety isn't built in big talks. It's built in moments like this. When you sit with them, listen, acknowledge, even if you don't fully understand, even if it seems small, because to them, it's not small. And when you respect that, they feel respected. Now here's something most parents don't expect. Spending time isn't enough. It's how you spend it. You can be in the same room all day and still feel distant, or you can give 5 minutes that feel unforgettable. Undivided attention. No phone. No distractions. Just you and them, fully present. Even briefly. This kind of time does something powerful. It tells your child, you're not competing with everything else in my life. And that message, it stays. Now pause for a second. Are you recognizing any of these? Because if you are, That's a good sign. It means you're paying attention. And if you're still here, listening, you're already doing something most parents don't. You're trying to understand, and that matters more than you think. So if this is hitting home, stay with this, because we're just getting to the part that most people miss. Consistency, not intensity. You don't need grand gestures. You don't need perfect days. What your child needs is predictability, knowing that your love shows up the same way tomorrow as it did today. Because inconsistency creates confusion, and confusion creates distance. But consistency, it creates security, and security becomes confidence. Now here's something subtle, but incredibly powerful, noticing them without being asked. Your child does something small, draws a picture, builds something, tries something new, and they don't always show you, but they notice if you notice. A simple, "I saw what you did there," changes everything, because now they feel seen, even when they weren't trying to be, and that builds a different kind of confidence. The quiet kind, the kind that doesn't need constant validation. Now this next one might surprise you. Apologizing. Yes, to your child, when you're wrong, when you overreact, when you misunderstand, when you say something you didn't mean. Most parents struggle with this because it feels like losing authority, but it does the opposite. It builds respect because now your child learns. Mistakes are okay. Taking responsibility matters. And relationships can repair. And here's the deeper impact. They learn how to apologize too. Not from being told, but from being shown. Now let's slow this down, because this next moment is the one most people remember. It's late. You're tired. Your child asks for your attention one more time. Just one more story. One more question. One more moment. And everything in you wants to say no. You've done enough. You're exhausted. But this is the moment. The small, quiet, easily dismissed moment. That becomes something bigger later. Because one day, they stop asking. Not dramatically. Not suddenly. Just slowly. And you won't even notice when it happens. Until it already has. Eventually, your child stops reaching for you the same way. Not because they don't love you, but because they've learned how much access they have to you. And that realization, that's the one that stays. Now take a breath, because this isn't about guilt. It's about awareness. You don't have to get everything right. You just have to get enough of these moments right. Because love for a child is built in patterns, not perfection. And here's the final shift. Saying it, clearly, directly. I love you. Not assumed, not implied. Spoken, often. Even when it feels obvious. Even when you think they already know. Because children don't measure love the way adults do. They need to hear it. Repeatedly, consistently, until it becomes part of how they see themselves. It's not about doing everything perfectly. It's about doing the right small things, over and over again. Because your child won't remember every word you said. They won't remember every rule, every correction, every lesson. But they will remember how it felt to be around you. And that feeling becomes their inner world. So tomorrow, when the moment comes, and it will, you don't need to be perfect. Just be present. Because in the end, your child won't measure your love by how much you gave, but by how often you showed it, in the moments that seemed too small to matter.